Hello and Happy New Year, union siblings. Because this is the season for reflecting and looking ahead, I'd like to share a few resolutions for AFT Connecticut in our labor movement in 2024. So let's start by resolving to resist privatization, to no longer accept inferior services provided by the lowest bidders who put taxpayers' dollars in their own pockets rather than paying their employees living wages. We know work done by state employees, public pre-K-12 and higher education professionals is both of higher quality and ultimately less costly. And let's resolve to remind our elected officials who quickly forget this fact. And then let's resolve to educate the press and those who constantly criticize us how collective bargaining really works. They all need to understand that the gains made in negotiations are balanced by management's proposals that our members have accepted. Maybe then they'd understand that contracts are not gifts, but are earned at the bargaining table and in the workplace. Maybe then they would stop conveniently forgetting a decade of concessions during the Great Recession. They need to start recognizing how our members in the private and the public sectors stepped up time and time again to give back while Wall Street and the 1% did not do a damn thing to help. Let's also resolve to make retirement security and health benefits the norm, not the outlier. I am tired of reading comments by millionaires that employees are disloyal to their companies today. No. Companies have been disloyal to their employees for decades. If they would invest in their pensions and their medical insurance and maybe a balanced work lives, their employees may be willing to work longer and stay. Now, they might have to adjust to a slightly smaller yacht, but they wouldn't have to spend as much time looking for new employees. And while we're at it, how about healthcare? Let's resolve to ensure safe, fully staffed hospitals so patients receive the care they deserved. Our caregivers should be able to concentrate on healing rather than filling in for colleagues who have left the profession because conditions are intolerable. Let's also resolve to lift paraeducators and other school support personnel out of poverty. They deserve livable wages for the incredible work that they do for our most vulnerable children. Let's bring an end to the practice of talking about how important paras are, but then refusing to pay them what they're worth. What we did last year to provide a stipend for health insurance was an important first step, but it is not our ultimate objective. So while we're at it, let us resolve to secure a public option for medical insurance. Our friends, family, and neighbors who are not fortunate enough to have a good union job should not have to be forced to rely on a GoFundMe page for life-saving care. Finally, let's spend a moment reflecting on those who stood in the way of progress in 2023. Like the CEO of a supposedly non-profit healthcare chain who received a $4.8 million salary and reported $172 million in non-taxable profits, but then had to be dragged kicking and screaming to agree to modest wages for the nurses and healthcare professionals that worked for him. Or like the superintendent of a local district with a six-figure salary that hired multiple six-figure directors of something and something while outsourcing hiring of paras and substitute teachers. Or like the public higher education leader who voted to raise tuition on students while ignoring their faculty's call to unite with them to demand investments in our state colleges and universities. Or like the elected official who asked for union endorsement, but then voted against a fairly negotiated collective bargaining agreement. Finally, let's resolve to keep those folks who made life harder for working families from getting more tax breaks or special advantages in 2024. Let's resolve not to simply hope for an executive order or a law passed by the legislature to right these wrongs. Instead, let's be resolved as members of this great labor federation to unite with working people across Connecticut and take direct action. This new year, let's remember that it is us, the members of our union, who always have the power. We just need to join hands and work together to make life better. From all of us here at AFT Connecticut, have a great 2024.